Muted. There we go. Let's do this one more time. Good morning. I click that mute button so before I go live, I don't say anything or whisper something under my breath that you shouldn't hear me say. Jesus loves me, but he knows I'm sassy. Good morning from Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina. I'm Diane Pruitt, coming to you this morning with Fall Smalls. It's almost that time of year, y'all. We're in the rainy season in South Carolina in July, apparently. We traded oil for monsoon season, and I'm okay with that. We need the rain. We sure need the mud. I'm sure we do. We can make some bricks. We should try that, shouldn't we? But once this rain stops, we're going to be on the edge of the sun, and we might as well stay inside in the rain and then plan on being inside in the scorching heat again. And we might as well get ready for fall, because just past that scorching heat is going to be insanity. And we need some decorations. And I want to show you how amazingly well Rethunk Junk covers on smalls. Now, I wanted to work with a little bit of salt wash this morning too, so let me grab that off my shelf. Of course, it's on the top shelf. And let me grab my little mixing cup, because we want our salt wash. Turn it around. I like this big container because it gives me a lot to work with, and when I want it, I've got it. Now, we do sell the smaller containers. Good morning, Lauren. Oh, thank you, love. One of these days, you're going to come see me before school starts back, and you only have a couple of weeks. So you need things to decorate your classroom. So if you're a flipper, or if you're a maker, or you need some DIY for your classroom or your mantle or your friends, because you should gift things when you have talent, you need one of these salt wash containers too. The beauty of these is the measurements. So no matter what kind of paint product you're working with, I'll click to a dual view so you can see this much better. No matter what kind of paint you're working with, salt wash gives you the measurements so you always measure correctly. Me, y'all know I'm just gonna dump it in there and mix it till I feel like it's right, and there's nothing wrong with that either. When you get ready to do your projects, just do them. The most important thing is just to do them. So we're gonna start this morning with plastic, metal, foam. Seriously, these are Dollar Tree foam pumpkins. Great decorations, but I do not like this neon orange. I just don't like it. That's cartoon character orange. And I have a fantastic, huge jar with a little bit of texture on it, because it is a salsa jar. I love these. They're huge. They've got a big open mouth on them. You can use these to store so many different things, or you can just pop some lights in there. But plain is no good. Decorated is awesome. So we have plastic, glass, tin, and foam, and we have Rethunk Junk and salt wash. And I want to show you some of the quickest, easiest ways to get some of these done for your decorations. Good morning, LaDon. How are you, sweetie? Michelle, good morning. Good morning from Nashville. How are you? Or good morning to Nashville. I know you're right outside, but we don't disclose your proper location. Let's start. I really want to start with these foam pumpkins, because they're just sinfully ugly. And I want them beautiful, and I want them multi-tone. And I want to use my glaze over the top of them. So, I don't know if this paint is, yeah, we're gonna just dash some water in there. My fantastic Hot Pink with Lips sprayer. Went to the beauty supply store, found that, had to have it. Had to have it. Becky, good morning. Good morning. Let's do some things. So this paint's been sitting for a while. And if you can see in there, it's kind of hardened. Except it does this neat thing. Spritz some water in there, reconstitute it. But you know how when you use the little pats of water paint and you just put water on it? That's what this is like. So let's get some of this on this pumpkin. I don't want to waste this paint, so we're going to use some of it. I need my Lazy Susan, and I am just not sure where I laid my Lazy Susan. I thought it was right here. I thought wrong. Now, you can see it's not full coverage. I'm okay with that. It's a little fuller here. I don't mind the orange showing through. I just don't want it to be the primary. So I'm going to tink a little bit more water in here. I love these little cups. They're 9-ounce plastic cups. I buy them in bulk, but they're great for your projecting. And then if you put your press and seal over the top of them, it does last for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean this has been sitting on this counter with press and seal on it for probably 3 months. Hey, Judy, good morning. Northeast Georgia in the house. 3 months, y'all. Seriously, press and seal is good stuff, and Rethunk Junk paint is good stuff. And I've told you before, this is my only paint product. I have some others that from time to time I work with, but I really have not found another product that I have to have, because I have found that everything I need is right here. And I can continue to use my Rethunk Junk even when I'm lazy and I forget and it sits on the counter and I don't use it on another project. Now, last week on Thursday at 3, we used our Rethunk Junk Gray Mist. Make sure you go to the Rethunk Junk main page, just simply Rethunk Junk. Get the information for July's Who Wore It Best contest. Get your gray mist right here at Two Girls Treasure. And let's get to popping some projects out. Matter of fact, once this dries, we'll probably use some gray mist over the top of it. Now I'm gonna make a mess because I don't have a paper towel or something down. And I know this is my paint station, but I try really hard to keep this table good. It's a great work table. Absolutely fantastic. So I'll do the bottom later. Not as important as getting the paint on. And that green stem, y'all. I'm just gonna swoosh some paint over the top of it. And we're gonna let this sit and dry. Not like the paint, we're gonna reconstitute that paint and put it in a container later. I'm going to move this out of the way. It won't take a long time to dry, but because I had to add water to it, it might take a little while to dry. Chris, good morning. Thank you for being here today. I'm so glad you're all here. I appreciate seeing you. Now, this is also Dollar Tree. I bought these last year. It's the super cutest little thing. I've got some painted. I wanted to do, one just hit the floor. I wanted to do a thing with these because they have little hangers on them. They're like paint jar ornaments, but how cute. Looks like a little jar of Rethunk Junk, and it has the color on it. And these are great to promote the colors of my paint. But I want to take that little tag off, and I'm going to take the lid off because I want to paint the lid also. But I want to make this into a holiday hanger. And since when we get past Labor Day, the first holiday is going to be Halloween, let's doll this up. Now I have this cutie little pumpkin right here. It's already painted, came like this in a kit. Look at the different layers of color in here, because all of your creases are green in it, just like I just put on. And then you have a lighter orange, and then you have spots of your richer rustic clay color over the top. I think we can replicate this on here and make it cute. It'll be more cartoonish than it will anything else, and I think that's okay. Little speckles of white over the top of it. I think we can replicate that with some soft white glaze. And I'm even gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop the ornament piece off. Now, I did see someone actually take and Dremel this off, but I think we're gonna keep this so we can drop a little light fixture down in here maybe. Let's see if we can do this without spilling. I don't think so. We'll get it off the top. So really all we need to do, since this is brand new, even though it's plastic, I think we're good to go. It may have fingerprints all over it. It may not. Should we prep this? Probably. We probably should. Let's see what it does. I've probably prepped these already before because we bought 36 of these. 36 because we were going to do all 36 of the colors. Gay helped me out with the purchases. We had to go into the next town, which around here is not that far. But I'm going to take my Miracle sponge and I'm just going to tamp the paint on, daub the paint on, if you will. I'm sure daub is the more proper terminology, but I am going to just simply make sure this is covered. And I think the texture of using the Miracle sponge will actually lend itself to the overall finish of this piece. So I'm going to tamp, daub a little bit more. I want to make sure I've got the top pretty well done. I know it'll be covered up, but I hate to leave any stone unturned. We're going to set this to the side to dry as well. Now, I don't have my fan over here this morning. That was probably a big mistake, but it's okay. I also have a Tostitos because we love this cheese dip. And these are great, but do you know how hard it is to get these particular labels off? They're not like paper labels. They are really sticky. And even with hot water, these always leave a sticky finish. And I usually take them off and try to use my Dawn Power Wash to get the sticky off of these. It sort of works, it sort of doesn't. But I'm not worried about it because, let me throw that down here, it'll give me a texture on here. And I'm okay with texture. You know why? Because texture makes the world go round. And this will be a super cute little pumpkin on the shelf. But let's give it some real texture, not just sticky texture. Let's cover that sticky texture up with some of our salt wash. I've got it in my cup. Let's tink some down in there. Not a ton, not a lot. I've covered the bottom. I'm going to add just a little bit more, and I'm going to set this back over out of the way. And then we're going to do the thing. We're going to do the thing with the paint, where we pour the paint into the salt wash container. Let the drips run off right quick. Take a stir stick. Take a stir stick, like the one I just had. Here we go. I set it to the side so that I didn't get it involved in anything. Now it has blue paint on it. It's okay. It's not going to come off. Stir this around and get your salt wash mixed in real well. Now, tell you what I really want to do. I love a sea glass finish. I really do. Usually you do sea glass finishes with your light colors, right? But I want a ghosty pumpkin finish. I love this color. This is Sunset by Rethunk Junk. This is one of the colors that you're absolutely going to need for your fall decor project. So if you're a flipper or a maker, make sure you order your Sunset Rethunk Junk. This is available in 16 and 32 ounce. And we do flat rate shipping for our Rethunk Junk products. I'm gonna put some water to this. And we're gonna experiment with something. Because usually when you do your sea salt finish with salt wash, you spray it on, right? Let's daub it on with a Miracle Sponge and see what we do. Let's see what it does. We need to liquefy this a little bit more. You want this thick for projects that you're going to layer. You want this thin for projects that you're going to create your sea glass finish with. And I think I want to sea glass finish this piece. So let's tell you what we'll do before we sea glass finish this piece. We'll do multi-purpose. Let's get this big jar out. I've got my hand to it. I'm gonna take my dirty Miracle Sponge. I'm gonna dip it in my salt wash, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna salt wash this jar because I have a plan for this one, and it involves rustic clay and copper. For all of you who are old enough, we should play a game like they used to do on Johnny Carson. And if you're not old enough and you watch the replays, you know what I mean. He used to take envelopes and Ed McMahon would open them and read 2 or 3 different items. So this one would be rustic clay, sunset, copper, and a glass jar. And the answer would be how you can recycle, rethink what you use your recycling for, and create an amazing piece of fall decor. Because the rain will end, the temperatures will skyrocket again, and when they get finished playing their environmental game, we will have fall. It'll be here before you know it. If my sister Laura were here, she could tell me exactly the number of days until Halloween. So we don't want to waste that time. We want to go ahead and get started. I'm going to tamp some salt wash onto the neck. These are great jars. I love that my kid loves salsa because I can buy her these jars and I have an endless supply of recycling DIY projects. So I think that's a lot on here. That's a good first coat. So we're gonna set that to the side to dry. And now let's do the lid because we want to do that too. Tamp some on there. I'm gonna go a little bit thicker on the lid. We're gonna do a thing with a mold on the lid so that we don't have to just unscrew it. We have a fancy, fancy handle. Okay. But we'll leave that for another project. Lid's done, all except for where my finger was. So we'll set that down, and now let's really liquefy this salt wash and sunset. Because if we're going to attain a translucent finish, oh, good morning, Sharon. Yes, it's time, isn't it? It is time to get ready for fall. Almost time to start doing Christmas. Shh. Almost, but not quite. Let's liquefy it just a little bit more. We want a really translucent finish on this jar. And we'll add some embellishments to it after we do all of the paint work, okay? So I like to do as many projects with the paint first as I can get done. That way, once I've got everything painted up, I can move the paint completely out of the way and I can really focus on the embellishments. Now, I'm going to use the very same Miracle sponge. Oh, I can tell the difference in the texture when I touch it. And this might not work. This might not work. We're gonna do it anyway. I'm not even gonna clean off the sticky parts because we can go over those with some embellishments. So we have salt wash. I may not have diluted it enough because it is still nice and bright orange, but we'll tamp it around anyway because we are committed to it at this point. I don't think this will dry as bright as it looks right now. Your sunset, Taylor had asked me about this one day, if you remember. She asked, does sunset always take a lot of coats of paint? And there's no simple answer to that, but the simple answer to that is, it really depends on what you're doing, because it has a lot of tone to it. Has a lot of color, doesn't it? But it's going to dry. This one we're hoping will dry lighter, more translucent than this one. And I can see the difference. I don't know if you can. I'm showing you under the light. So I'm hoping that you can see the difference in these as well. But let's see how it takes once it's dry. This is watered down, so I'm really hoping this is a lot more translucent than the one that just has straight salt wash on it. All right, so we did our foam, we did our plastic, we did 2 of the glass. I've got a lid to the plastic. I should probably tamp that out too. It's okay if it has the salt wash on it. I'm not hurting anything. And actually that salt wash may help with the little grooves in the side of this lid. So let's tamp that on. I'm gonna have a little spot where my thumb is. We'll cover that because we'll have leftover. Ta-da! All right, we'll set that to the side. Now, metal. Yes, it will. I need to do the lid for the Tostitos jar. So I'm going to do the same thing with this lid that I did with the lid to the salsa. And yes, in case you're wondering and you need to know, this cheese dip and that salsa mix together and make a tasty, tasty little treat. So try that sometime too. Follow me for great recipes for the fam. I have come across some really great recipes lately. And I try to make most of them. So if I put some recipes out and you're not sure, ask me. Ask me if I've tried them. I like to eat. Most of them I have. All right. Tin. Let me grab some more paper towels because I am splattering this everywhere. I'm getting it everywhere. There we go. Alice, good morning. Hey, honey, how are you? If you were here last Thursday evening for the live sale, I just can't tell you thank you enough times. We had a really great time all the way until we didn't. We ran out of space. So I've got to do some tech work this morning after we get done here. Y'all know how good I am with that. I really would rather be painting something, but I've got to get the tech work done because guess what? It's time for our annual warehouse sale. And it used to be called a tent sale, but After several monsoons and one tornado, we'll be doing it inside from now on. And since we're in such a huge building, we're going to warehouse it out. We've got things that we have posted on our website. Of course, they show up on our Facebook shop. Most of the time, if you haven't been with us for the sale here locally, most of our tent sales have been focused on furniture. It's a great time of the year for you to buy furniture because we'll be having it on massive, massive discount. And not only that, we do put some of the decor items on sale. This is like our semi-annual if we were a huge entity, but we're not, so we just do the best we can. Thursday evening from 6 till 7, and we can go ish if we need a little bit more time. We will kick off our annual warehouse sale right here live on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, if you're watching any of our sales on YouTube, hop on over to our website or our Facebook to make your purchases. Don't be shy. If you're not local and you find something that you just can't live without, we will ship at buyer's expense. If it's a big piece of furniture, we'll get something worked out. We have a network of shippers who do coast to coast and north to south shipping. So we can do the best we can to get you shipped out, but don't be shy. You can go online starting Thursday to purchase from our annual, now called a warehouse sale, because I'm not going to stand out there in a tornado and try to hold the tent down ever again in my life. And y'all know, if I put a tent up out there, that's what's going to happen, because every tent sale we've